Do you want to see God's plan accomplished in your life? I'm sure you do, because you know that God knows what's best for you, and so you want to work with Him to see His will accomplished. And I have a number of videos on how to discover God's will, and they're listed on this page below the video. But what can block God's plan for your life? Because we need to know what those obstacles are so we can remove them so God's plan can be accomplished. Well, I think if you ask the average Christian, they would say the number one obstacle to God's plan would be demonic attack. Because Satan hates you, he wants to block God's will on the planet and certainly in your life. He wants to discourage you, distract you, and tempt you into sin so that you're off in the wrong direction. And number two, I think most people would say other people, because they could criticize what you think is God's will for your life, and they could complain about it and talk you out of it. But you know what I think the biggest obstacle to God's plan for your life is? It's you. It's your beliefs. It's what you believe about God and yourself. You see, if you think that God is warm, loving, kind, friendly, approachable, then you'll want to trust Him and work with Him. But on the other hand, if you think God is distant, angry, disappointed with you, upset, hard to please, well then you are not going to trust Him and you're likely to just want to go your own way. But the second is, and which I think is even a bigger obstacle, is what you believe about yourself. Do you call yourself names? Do you beat yourself up? Do you call yourself a loser? I'll never amount to anything. God can't use me. I'm not good enough. Look at my history of failures. God could never use me. You talk yourself out of God's plan for your life. And you know where those thoughts come from? They come from your emotional baggage, which we've talked about on many occasions. You see, your emotional baggage is a collection of your memories from the past and the conclusions that you made about those memories. So if you've had a lot of bad things happen to you, then you've made a lot of conclusions about yourself, others, and God that are negative. And you beat yourself up and you talk yourself out of God's plan for your life because you disqualify yourself based on your history. So you see, your emotional baggage is the biggest obstacle to seeing God's plan accomplished in your life. Of course, Satan loves that. He wants you to hang on to your baggage tightly and be convinced that it's true and it's permanent and you'll always be this way so that you'll never allow God's plan to take place. So how can you then come free of this? Well, you need to get rid of your baggage so you can start to see yourself the way God does. Because He thinks you're amazing. You have incredible potential that you're not aware of. And God knows what your potential is because He put it there. So you need to start to see yourself that way because you can block the potential that God placed in you with your own beliefs. So you need to get rid of your baggage so your beliefs about yourself change and God's will can start to flow freely through you. So how do you do that? How do you get rid of your baggage? Well, if you suffer from depression, anxiety, or mood swings, which can really give you a lot of negative thinking, you might need to see a doctor. And I've got lots of information about mood disorders on my website. But probably the most useful person is a counselor or a prayer minister because they're trained to help people unload their baggage. But you also might need to talk to your pastor to get the right view of God and to discover God's correct view of you and how much He loves you and cares about you and wants to see His plan accomplished in your life. So don't stay stuck where you are. Allow God's plan to unfold in your life by taking action and getting rid of your baggage. But now I want to hear from you. What has been the most significant step that you have taken that then released God's plan into your life? Just leave your testimonies in the box below this video because we want to hear your story because it will encourage us. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter using the subscription form on this page. And I'll talk to you again next week. But this week, take some action. Change the way you think about yourself and God and see God's plan unfold in your life.